So you've probably seen Mello-Roos on a new construction home tax disclosure and wondered what it actually is. So here's the short version. It's a separate community tax that pays for roads, schools, parks and safety in brand new neighborhoods. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you where it comes from, how it shows up in your tax bill, and what you need to ask before you sign your new construction purchase agreement so there are no surprises after you move in. Now, back in 1978, California passed Proposition 13, which capped property taxes. Great for homeowners, but it created a problem. New developments needed infrastructure, and the cities couldn't raise taxes to pay for it. So in the early 1980s, the state created the Mello-Roos Community Facilities Act, and it lets cities form what's called a special taxing zone around a new community. They sell bonds to investors, build the infrastructure up front, and then have homeowners pay back those bonds over time through an extra tax. Now, without it, builders would either need to wait years for cities to build roads and schools, or bake those costs into the purchase price, which would make homes even more expensive. So this way, the community gets built faster, and the cost of all this infrastructure gets spread out over 25 to 40 years. So I'm Steve Enchin, your Southern California new construction home expert, and every week I help folks just like you buy a beautiful new construction home, and we have a fun, low-stress time doing it. And by the end of this video, you'll know how to spot Mello-Roos on your tax bill, verify what you're paying for, and ask the right questions before we write our offer. Now, on your county tax bill, it's going to appear under what are called special charges or special assessments. You won't see the words Mello-Roos. You're going to see Community Facilities District, CFD, direct charges, or something like that. And the amount is usually a flat annual fee. It's not tied to your home's value. So if it's $3,000 a year, it stays $3,000 a year, whether your home is worth $800,000 or $1.2 million. And some districts are going to include a small annual increase, maybe about 2%, to keep up with inflation. You can find the exact amount before you buy in the preliminary title report or the tax disclosure report that we get from the builder. So don't rely on builder estimates in the sales center. We want to get the actual number from either the title company or from that tax disclosure report. And Mello-Roos funds are restricted to specific public improvements. So things like streets, traffic signals, water and sewer lines, parks, trails, and recreation facilities, fire stations and emergency services, schools and school facilities. There's street lighting and landscaping in common areas in some communities where there's no HOA. The money can't be used for general city operations, only for the specific infrastructure built when your neighborhood was developed. It's for your benefit. This public report is going to show what the bonds are funding. So if you're paying $2,500 a year, you should know whether that's for a school, a fire station, or just basic street maintenance. Most of the districts are going to run for about 25 to 40 years from the date the bonds were issued, not from when you bought the home. So if the community started, say, in 2015 with a 30-year term, it ends around 2045, even if you didn't buy your new home in that community until 2025. So you want to check the preliminary title report or the tax disclosure report. You can call the county assessor office to find out the remaining term on each of those Mello-Roos bonds. And once the bonds are paid off, well, that line item disappears from your tax bill. Your total property tax is going to just drop accordingly. So if you're looking at a new construction home community and you want help understanding the full cost breakdown, I offer a free consultation where we can walk through the numbers together. The link is down in the video description where you can schedule a no obligation call. Lenders include Mello-Roos in your total monthly housing expense when calculating your debt-to-income ratio. And most lenders are capping this debt-to-income ratio at about 43 to 50% depending on the loan type. So if your Mello-Roos is $3,000 a year, that's an extra $250 a month. And that 250 is going to eat into your allowable DTI, which means you might qualify for a smaller loan amount than you originally expected. So this is why you need to know that Mello-Roos amount up front before we make an offer. Because a lot of buyers focus on the purchase price and just assume they can afford it, and then discover that total monthly payment pushes them over the lender's limit and they don't get approved for the loan. So make sure the lender includes Mello-Roos in the pre-approval. Not all of them do it automatically, so you want to make sure those numbers are accurate. Now, also, some of the loan programs will cap total property taxes as a percentage of the purchase price. So if your combined property tax and Mello-Roos exceed that cap, you may not qualify for certain loan types. Now, some people have confused these Mello-Roos taxes with like HOA fees because they're both recurring charges, but just remember they're completely different. Mello-Roos is a public tax used to pay off bonds for infrastructure that benefit your community. You can't opt out. If you don't pay, the county can put a lien on your home, and also the tax goes away when the bond is paid off. Whereas HOA dues are a private fee paid to a homeowners association for things like landscaping and pool maintenance, or if you have a townhome, including the roof maintenance and general maintenance funds. Those HOA fees continue forever and can sometimes increase over time. Both of them will add to your monthly housing cost, but only the Mello-Roos is part of your property tax bill. The HOA is a separate charge. Before we write an offer on a new construction home, we want to get answers to these questions. What is the exact annual amount? We want to get it from the tax disclosure. We don't want an estimate that was on a marketing sheet in the sales center. We want to know, what does it pay for? So we can check a public report to see if you're funding a school, park, or street maintenance. And we want to know, when does it end? So we find the bond maturity date so you know how many years remain for you to pay those taxes. And also, is there an annual increase? Some districts will escalate by up to 2% a year. Others just stay flat and they don't change. Another question you should ask is, can I pay it off early? So some districts will allow prepayment in full or in increments of your share of those bonds. So you want to contact the administrator for that specific CFD to find out if that's an option. You also want to check, are there any other special assessments that are there? Some communities will have multiple CFDs or additional special taxes. So we definitely want to pull all this information from that tax disclosure report. It is super important to look at. Now, remember, Mello-Roos isn't bad. It's just a tool that cities are using to build communities faster to increase the supply of housing. But yeah, it does increase your total cost of ownership, and it's not always obvious by how much. Go in with your eyes open, know what the charge is, what it funds, and how long it lasts. Factor it into your budget before we make an offer. Now, if you want a deeper dive into all the costs of buying new construction, including builder incentives, upgrades, and financing, I put together a free new construction home buyer's guide. The link is down below in the video description, so grab a copy. And thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next video.